Hello and welcome to Pirate Radio this evening. I'm Greg, and joining me as always is Commander X and Kaidus this evening. You are here, of course, to listen to us chat shit about the TF2 scene, and we have quite a lot of topics this week. They're pretty interesting. Xavi, as always, keeps on top of all the gossip, so I'll let him jump in first with the first team news, which is what we're going to cover first. Do you want to go in for the Seacrest news, Xavi?
Seacrest, yes. Seacrest have folded for real this time. It is confirmed. Yeah, after sort of much up and down of we're folding, we're not folding, we're waiting till February, no, we are just going to fold. Sort of that whole merry-go-round. I'm muted, apparently.
Awesome. Well, that's a good start, isn't it?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me now?
Kaidus is muted as well. I've done this well.
Huh? I haven't spoken yet, are you sure?
Greg's muted us on Mumble.
Yeah,
he pressed mute instead of local mute. So,
so professional.
This is why Scaro's in charge of the button.
Right, well, go for it, Xavi.
Right, yeah, so Seacrest have folded for real this time after, folding, then saying, no, we didn't really fold, then saying, no, we're going to enter XLO, then saying, no, we're not going to play till Feb. They've now actually folded, and they've all just sort of broken away into their own thing.
Yeah, indeed. So they kind of were like really up in the air about whether they were staying together before. I think it was kind of like Moore didn't know if he wanted to quit, and then like all this gossip came out about them like quitting and stuff, and probably they were like, no, we've not quitted officially yet. We still want to play, and then they've gone, actually, wait, we can't be asked to wait around for 2 months before we do anything. So that's cool. So do definitely check that out. Well, do check that out. Kaidus, do you have anything to state about that?
Well, I think they folded because he just got a bit tired of 5-0ing my non-existent team, so eventually they just had to call it quits. It was just too easy for them.
And apparently you're echoing on Mumble, Kaidus.
Oh no.
So,
no, how do I stop that?
I don't know. So,
is that better? Is that better now? No, I've just actually muted myself. I don't know what to do about that. I don't even know what you mean.
Wait, is the echo... I don't know. Why am I getting involved? I have no idea about anything technical.
No, because we have you muted on Mumble. So it's for the people on Mumble that obviously you're getting an echo for. Do just tune in on the stream if you can't be asked to fix it out. We try and work that out, guys. The stream is working perfectly fine. I just read one of the channels on IRC. I echo through Kaidus apparently. So there you go, Kaidus. I don't know what's wrong with your feedback on your Mumble. You have just checked. You have to.
Is that better? Is that better now?
Is that better? Yeah, awesome. Right.
Yes. Oh, excellent.
There we go. Sorry for all the technical details, guys. Right. We've covered Seacrest. That was all we really needed to do. We kind of covered them the other week.
Happy.
Yeah. Are they going to do anything? Have we heard anything about any of their players continue playing or anything?
Zapis trialing or was playing with Broco today, I presume a trial, which is like a new team with Cyclus, Deux, Evokje, and some other guy whose name escapes my brain at the moment.
Well, at least as long as we keep some of these players in the scene, we definitely do need them. They can't just drop everybody. But let's move on to the next news of the week, which is, of course, actually Relic not signing up to ETF2 and also removing themselves from the XLO invite as well. What was the reasoning you got for that, Xavi?
I've been told Rebelli's on a break, and I presume the others just can't be asked to play with a Merc or with replacements and aren't that bothered anyway.
So that is actually pretty massive news, them not playing in these cups. So of course that actually means that there are no Finnish teams in Prem next season, with Dignitas folding, Seacrest folding, and Relic not joining. Finland's dead. France, the new home of TF2, guys.
France?
Yeah, man. You heard it here first.
Who?
They have like the biggest scene and the most lands, all that jazz, the biggest community. They might not be the home of the top of TF2, but they're the home of the community for sure. So
do they not have like one player in Prem? Nox. Do they have anyone else?
Droso.
What?
He's from Belgium. Yeah.
We make a lot of jokes, but he is actually Belgian. Nah, they were the same. Who are we kidding? They got 2.
Do you have anything to discuss about that, Kaidus?
About Relic?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised. I don't think anyone really would be surprised. The Finnish Roman packs, if you pick one off, then they're all going to go down.
It's more a surprise when they actually play games to me, rather than where they don't. So
Yeah.
we do hope they do come back. They've probably just taken a break. No lands. Next land's like 45. It's quite expensive for Finns. The same as some of these Dignitas players. They'll probably end up, after this, after this season, coming back and going, oh, let's make another Finn mix. The ultimate Finn mix that kaidus has spoken about last week. So
I'm sure they're saving their pocket money as we speak.
looking forward to I-46, as is everybody, of course.
Long-term planning.
Yep. So that is pretty much the news with Relics. That is no Finns in Prem, or one Finn or two. How many Finns is it left in Prem,
Taimu and Cookie.
There you go, Taimu and Cookie. That's it.
Taimu in Prem.
The two best Finns.
That is more news to come later, guys. We do have
That's a bit of a
little
teaser
inside
for you.
info for later, guys. Ooh, you better hold on to your hats. Hold on to your hats. So we're gonna move on. Of course, that means that 3 teams have dropped out of Prem this season. So there's three spots for Prem up for grabs. We're going to go through some of the lineups, some of the changes for these teams right now. Do you want to go through Carnage first, Savvy?
Right. Carnage, at the moment, sort of big roster changes. Anti sticking to Med. Ty comes in on Demo. Quad and Crouton on Scout. And Leojan and Radiator on Soldier. But Radiator is not back from South Africa until February. So War is playing until then, and that is basically their roster.
Okay, that's cool. That's definitely a strong team. Mainly centered around Quad, Thai, and Anti. I'd have to say. Obviously they've got some up and coming players. Definitely in Crouton, he's a strong out. Radiator is, he's been in the old. What was it, Mouse Tech lineup, which is a little bit of the old Mouse Tech reforms.
Half Mouse Tech.
Yeah. So it'll be weird to see him back in the scene, I think, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays in Prem. Well, the previous Mouse Tech lineup, when we saw him, he was always rated quite high by the players he played with. Yeah.
Where has he been?
South Africa. He's South African, so I think he spends half of his year in South Africa, half in Europe.
As you do.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Who doesn't do that?
Why not spend a shitty European winter in South Africa? Anti's just updated me. He was working in South Africa. He had a job, and I assume it was just, like an internship or something for 6 months or something like that. And now he is coming back.
He sells iPods and got a promotion. Apparently, I'm hearing. I don't know if this is a
I thought you were
joke or
joking.
this is as I'm being told now. Apparently, he sells iPods, and now he's been promoted to IMAX. No, I'm
he works. He works for Apple, and he went out to South Africa to work for a bit, I assume. So now they must have moved him back to Europe, something along those lines, working in the European offices instead. So yeah, it'd be good to have him back in the scene, and definitely looking forward to seeing how he actually plays in Prem. I don't think we ever played against him, but that old Mouse Tech lineup did defeat some big names, even though a lot of people didn't want to play them because of the hacking scandal and such that was labelled over their team.
What a Frisco. Good
So,
for everybody.
Yeah, so we are now going to move on from that team, I think. I think that team is definitely strong enough to go into Prem. That's probably the main thing we should discuss about this. Do you guys think it should be into Prem?
Is Quad actually going to play full time?
He can't go to lands, but he can play midweek, and except when he doesn't wake up for games. So.
I see. Well, if Quad is playing with them actively, then probably yes.
Okay.
If Quad isn't really into it, then maybe not.
All right. So it kind of hinges on Quad for you. All right. So let's move on to the next team. Do you want to go into Taimu's team now, Zavi?
Taimu's team, which is sort of brand new, formed of just all the teamless players, which is Taimu on Medic. Well, Demo Man is sort of up in the air at the moment. They're currently trying to Rectus. On Soldier, it's Mineral and Koichi, the old VYE line Soldier partnership. And on Scout, French duo, Noon and GL, Longus.
Okay, so
They look strong.
I've heard some links to a Stannis to that team as well, because Longus did play Demo Man earlier this week, pretty much. And
Stannis is coming back to TF2.
Okay, so whether they link that there and let Longus play demo for sure, we don't know. But they are still looking at different demos. It will make the lineup much stronger if they have a Div 1 Prem demo and let Longus play Scout. So
they'll take a Rectus inevitably.
Maybe with the old VYE soldiers, they might try and steal Randa off Epsilon. Do you see that happening?
No, I do not. Unless Epsilon are the next big team to fold, then I don't see it happening.
All right, and there was links with Extremer, but he has said he's not joining them now. So they definitely are still, Sorry?
Shock.
Shock and horror, yeah.
Really? Oh.
That would be like the biggest troll team ever.
I
But
can't
as it is,
see
they still have Mineral and Koichi, so
Team Extremer.
What's a loss of MumbleNet would be?
indeed. So will they deserve Prem? They've got some strong players, mainly some strong players. They've got Longas in that lineup. Noon is a strong scout. It depends who their demo is, whether they will compete in Prem if they get a Prem spot or not. What do you guys think?
Erectus is good. He has potential.
I
If they do pick him up.
I don't reckon they can win Prem. I reckon they can play in Prem, but they're going to be the most inconsistent team in the division because there's not a lot of brain in that team. I like a lot of the people in that team. I think they have a lot of good DM skills, but Mineral and Koichi on Soldier, they don't have any kind of there's no real class to their play. It fits in with Temu on Medic because Temu is obviously that kind of Medic where he just wants everyone to be aggressive all the time. But at the end of the day, if their DM is not on the day, then they're not going to be able to do their game plan. Whereas most teams in Prem have a much more sophisticated approach, which can compensate for people not being that on a particular day. But I don't think they will be able to cope if they're not aiming well on a particular day.
I have a live update. Hamish just PM'd me. They've taken Erectus and Astanis.
Dun dun dun. So which of their two scouts? They have 4 scouts now?
I presume Harblue's only playing backup because of his schedule when they want someone more active. And I'm going to presume, logically, Noon's going to be dropped then, if they're taking Astanis.
Jesus Christ, Longus. The team hasn't even existed yet. It's already like cutting the...
Stop cutting Noon. Noon's a nice guy.
How many times has Longus cut or taken Noon for like a day now and it's replacing the fucking have a heart, bloody hell.
Alright, so Stannis and Longas scout partnership will definitely be good and will compensate for, the Mineral Koichi, not as, thinking soldiers sort of thing, more of, just DMing style. Yeah. But it will definitely compensate. If they have those two scouts, they do, it's definitely deserves Prem compared to some of these other lineups that might fit in to that slot. But let's move on to the other changes this week. So the next one, in fact, Exotic, do you want to let us know what the confirmed lineup is now, Zavi?
Confirmed lineup is Fade on Medic, Spari on Demoman, Klar and Natural.
I've got to interrupt you, sorry. Sparkle, guys, just double checking so everyone knows who it is. It's actually Sparkle on Medic, not Fade. Yeah.
Harsh. And Samzi and Gubbins on Scout.
Okay. So obviously they, came third in, Div 1 last season. So, out of all the teams that probably, are in this running for the, Prem spots, I feel they deserve it the most just because of last season. Fair enough, they lost out against Broder in the end on a very close game, wasn't it? Was that 3 maps in the end? That was, wasn't it?
3 maps, yeah.
Yeah. So they might have lost out against Broder, but out of the 5 or so teams that we believe should be going Prem, I'd say they're probably the top of my list just because of last season and they're not a new lineup and stuff like that. So it's definitely a good team, and I don't know how their new roster lineup will change and help the team, hinder the team, but we'll have to wait and see with that. Do you want to chime in about that, Kaidus?
I guess of who's available, with possibly the exception of Quarantine. They're really the only candidates, but I think it's more a case of them being the best of an inadequate bunch rather than being the standout must-be Prem team, if you know what I mean. No offense to anyone, but that's the way I see it. I don't think they're really going to be able to compete, but someone's got to fill the numbers, and they can fill the numbers.
Yeah, indeed. So let's move on to Quarantine now. So they have had a few little changes recently with Klippen dropping out and Ips, of course, joining the lineup. So do you want to go into that, Zavi, at all? Have you heard much about that, or is it just...
Are we talking about Quarantine, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, Ips has joined as Soldier, and Klippen posted on Vanilla that he wasn't playing, and then he's changed his mind and now can play actively, so they've just said, yeah, we'll keep him. Simple as.
Okay, well, I murked for them this week a little bit, and they seemed unhappy with how Klippen was playing before and kind of wanted him out on the side. from what I gather. He just didn't have the heart to play. He was just running into people, not calling anything, just like, kind of, the sort of emoing out, don't want to play this game sort of attitude. If he changes that, then I guess it's good for them. And they've been playing with him for a while. But if he doesn't change that attitude, they're just going to be in exactly the same situation they were in before. So I don't know if that's a good move or a bad move for them. But obviously they're used to playing with Clippan compared to picking up some of these other scouts that they were mainly looking to trial. Was it Nikes and someone else? Was that?
Nace and Deox, but I might have completely made that up. I just based it on the fact that they were Swedish and Quarantine are hard Swedish, so they must know each other.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough then. So obviously they brought back Clippan, they picked up Ips. That's only one roster of change for them, so that's still pretty good from their lineup that's been together for so long. Beaven is a beast. Oh, okay. I've just been PM'd that Clippan's out completely. He's not back in the lineup.
Whoa.
I don't know who PM'd me that. It's some name that don't know. I need to. Oh, it's Ips, but he's got a weird. He's got something cool. No, it's CoolerFan94 at warmup_mp3.ru. How do I know who the fuck that is? Yeah.
I thought I was talking to Cook for ages, and he was asking me for a match. I was like, "Why would you play a match against me, Cook?" It's like, "Oh."
Was it Ips messaging
Yeah,
that?
it was messaging me. I was like, "Why are you asking me for a match?" Well, oh, right, okay.
Okay, so Clippan is out. Do you wanna quickly give me an update of the players you were trialing, or am I not allowed to read the players you're trialing out? Let's see if he gives me a little note.
Deox has joined Broco, so it'll be Nace.
Nace and Noon as well. That's a good pick. I'd go with him.
Noon.
Yeah.
Please.
There you go. So actually, Astanis coming in. Yeah, maybe they could try and pick up Astanis, instead steal him away from Longas. Yeah, fuck you, Longas, kicking Noon. So instead, they're going to trial Noon and Nace. I instantly think of Noon because I don't really know who Nace is, in fact. So I don't think I've even played against him once.
He's Swedish.
Oh, Swedish. Oh, perfect. Fits into that lineup perfectly, then, doesn't it? And that's pretty much it. Apart from, do you want to go into the next topic, Xavi, or do you want to leave it out?
You take it because I'm trying to do map eliminations now.
Okay, well, so basically, I get a notepad from Xavi every week with what he's written down from the week. I tell him shit and he just writes it down because I'm too lazy. And he's added into the list, Commander X is now teamless. That's one of the topics of the week, guys.
Guys, we need to fix this because I'm pretty sure the future of TF2 hinges on what happens to me in the next week team-wise. So sort me out, guys. I'm talented, charming, funny. I'm a premier celebrity in TF2. So
I think insane Dutch killers need a new medic.
Right, so the other team that obviously are up for contention with this, new Prem sort of spot, I'd say Deserto. Obviously, they played against Carnage earlier today in the XLO Open Cup. So let's cover that actually. Let's bring that up the list and cover that now. So of course, the XLO Open Cup happened last Monday, guys. We had majority of these teams playing in it. Quarantine played without their medic. I think they had someone murking Arc instead. I think that was right. Taimu's team played. They had Longas demo, and it was kind of the lineup I've got written here. So Taimu, Longas, Mineral Koichi, Harbler, and Noon. Carnage played with obviously the lineup we discussed before, and Deserto played. And the team that ended, Exotic didn't actually. Do you want to go into that, Xavi? Explain why Exotic didn't?
Yeah. Well, basically, when the news first broke out, Seacrest had folded for the first time. We were invited to take their spot, and then Seacrest said, "No, we're not folding." So they took the invite away from us. But in that time, we didn't realise we'd then have to sign up for the Open and missed the sign-up date. So we just then didn't sign up and were like, "Oh well, we'll just miss this tournament." And then they did fold, so we got our spot back.
Yeah, so that's a little bit dodgy, but it means Exotic are actually in the Invite Cup. But if we just go through a few of the matches that happened last Monday. So who beat who? Was it Carnage beat Bot, which is a mix with Bite and stuff, and then beat Taimu's team as well, didn't they?
Yes.
The tryharders.
Yes. The tryharders, yes. And meanwhile, who beat Quarantine? I've forgotten who were not Quarantine now. Was it Deserto? No, it wasn't. They lost to they lost to EV or something. Something like that. Element of Violence or something. Their medic timed out and they just quit. They couldn't be bothered playing. I think it was, I casted that game.
It was Eternity, ISC is telling us.
Eternity.
Oh, Unexist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Zirashan.
Yeah, they played one round, their medic timed out, they paused, waited for medic to come back, medic timed out again, so they just defaulted it and gave it away. So Quarantine really didn't get a proper go through that cup, unfortunately. But it meant that the final was between Deserto and Carnage, which happened earlier today. Two of these teams that are possibly, linked with Prem in the next season. And, Carnage came out on top in 2 maps, so showing dominance towards the end of Snakewater, really, and it was pretty close, I have to say, until that last 15 minutes of Snakewater. Between, Badlands was close, first 10, 15 minutes of Snake was close. What do you think, Xavi? Because obviously you casted it with me.
Yeah, Thai, Quad, basically all of their players, really, like most of their players were too strong. Like Leo, Jan and War were getting a lot of frags as well, and Deserto just couldn't cope. They couldn't keep up the M-wise.
Yeah, indeed. So, just as a, looking forward to Prem sort of thing, Carnage looking like they're, currently top of the list of the teams that deserve a Prem spot, other than Exotic, because as I said before, I think Exotic deserve it. So that means that the people in the Invite Cup on top of the standard 5, which is Epsilon Infused, CC, Yo-Yo Tech, and Broda. In fact, Broda, Yo-Yo Tech, because Broda have a higher seed. Then Exotic, and then Carnage, and then Deserto. So that's those sort of teams. But yeah, Carnage did a good job winning that game, which kind of, when you think about Deserto challenging for Prem as such, isn't ... sort of thing. But we actually have some inside info about the Prem spots. I've been saying all this about, hyping it up and stuff, saying what I think the team should be doing when we already know who they are. Do you want to go into it, Xavi? As you found this out?
Should we do the big reveal on the final
big reveal,
Prem
or should we do a
spots?
little drum? Yeah,
Drum roll.
Yeah, I can't hold down Alt and do a 2-handed drum roll. So unfortunately,
I'm not sure how well it'll sound.
Sounds like you have absolutely no rhythm.
Right, man. I'm an entertainer. I can't do everything. I can't be charming and musically talented at the same time. Come, let me try. So the big reveal. The final 3 Prem spots go to.
Do you want to do the other 5 Prem teams already before we do the reveal? Go on, Xavi. Joining
Epsilon Infused Crack Clan.
Broda and Yo-Yo Tech.
Broda and Yo-Yo Tech are Exotic Island, Timu's team, aka Tryharders, and Carnage Esports.
Dun dun dun.
And apparently they were the only, no other teams were even really considered to be Prem. So,
sounds about right.
Yeah, I think those 3 teams deserve it. I mean, like, if you look at Deserto and QN, from what I've talked to a few of their players, they didn't even apply, on the application for ETF2L, you click what division you want to be placed in. They didn't click Prem. Whether that's a thing that they want another season in Div 1, and so, they want a season under their belt before they go into Prem, whatever, I think they should have still clicked Prem, shown that they're interested in it, they wanted the drive to play and go and challenge these teams, give ETF2 Albans a decision about it, rather than these fucking shit decisions they've already made,
Exotic, we didn't click Prem either. We wanted to be Div 1. We didn't want to be, like, we were originally, when there was only 1 spot, we were originally going to be offered it, and we were going to say no and let Timmy's team have it. But then, like, so many more spots opened up, it was like, well, we can all just be Prem.
So did they come and ask you? Did the admins come and ask your players?
When originally there was 1 spot, we were the favourites to get it, being basically 3rd place to Broda and Yo-Yo taking the playoffs.
Okay, so the admins were sticking by the sort of player season before you get established teams. That's good. I like that. I like that. If that is actually what the admins were thinking, and then fair enough, you guys were saying this team should get it more. We don't really want to be there yet. Whatever. It's up to you. But now there's 3 spots. You've decided to go in and join it.
Right. Yeah, because otherwise, if we're playing Div 1, the toughest opponent's going to be Quarantine and Deserto, and no discredit to them, they would be the only real challenging games.
Okay, so if only Tryhard has gone in and you would have had Carnage, Quarantine, Deserto, and yourselves, you would have liked to have stayed in Div 1 to have 4 or 3 decent games and a few easy games.
Don't forget the bro code.
Oh, sorry, man. Have they even entered ETF2L?
I would assume so. That's why they put together that ramshackle roster so quickly, isn't it?
Can we effectively call it IDK? Oh no, here's
I don't even know who's in it.
Evoke. Have you entered ETF2L on IRC? Tell me now.
Okay, so that's QN. Deserto, I don't know whether that's the same thing. They are an established team. Where did they come in the last season of Div 1? Were they Div 2 last season? They were
Mid-
Div 2 last season, weren't they?
No, Deserter were Div 1 last
Deserter.
season.
Oh, were they? Oh,
They were
so it
mid-
shows you what I
they
know
were-
about Div 1. Okay.
Below Eternity, who still exist. It's a bit weird.
Called Unexist, ironically.
Okay.
Woohoo! Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
So
They're all
Eternity
night.
are the same team, and they've been looked over as well. All right. So Blast, the French guys, they've been looked over. They're a decent team. Okay. So Div 1 should still be quite strong-ish next season, but it won't have any of the outstanding teams, the likes of Yo-Yo Tech Broder sort of thing that can pressure Div Prem.
It will probably be more competitive because of it. It will be a lower skill level, but
Even.
closer, more even, yeah.
Okay, so let's go into the three teams that obviously got promoted. Carnage, they showed during the cup, the Open Cup, they deserved the spot. I have to say, if you effectively coming out with 7th seed, you're not going to be the last team that's going to be entering. I like that. Like they definitely deserve it, to be honest. And then Tryharders definitely have a strong team with, a Stannis and a Longas in it. And then Taimu, he's, while some of us don't like his medicing style, he's been in Prem before. He's, if you're gonna have to pick up 3 teams, he would have, if he'd been an exotic this season, he would have been in Prem as well. So just because he's jumped ship, joined a new team, I say jumped ship, got kicked off, doesn't mean he shouldn't be in Prem. It'll just be quite funny watching him trying to call in Prem. In all honesty, if he does the Taimu TV stuff, I'm gonna probably sit there and laugh for a little bit watching some of that.
Taimu only uploads wins, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Well, he only uploads wins, so it's fine.
So Temu TV is dead then?
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I love Temu.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. They're a strong team. They should. I say a strong team in Div 1 standards. Like these 3 teams that are coming forward, can they contest the top 5?
We'll find out tomorrow.
Can they contest the top 5? Can they contest the top 3? I don't know how Yo-Yo Tech and Broder are playing at the moment because I haven't seen it. I've merked for Broder earlier, in fact, playing against Epsilon. They only lost 3-2, so it was still a pretty close game. But
Exotic beat Crackland in the PCW on Badlands today. So.
I think
you're just cracking that out all the time now, Davy, aren't you?
Well,
I actually think it's a lot closer than you'd expect, Greg.
Okay, well, between the top 5 or between the
everyone.
top 8? Okay.
Between the whole top 10, I don't think these teams that are coming through are particularly that good, but I honestly think that a lot of teams have let themselves go over this Christmas break. It could very easily scatter out a lot more again, but I think in the very immediate future, so this cup, week 1, it could, obviously you'd expect like Crackland, Infused Epsilon to take it just because of like the experience in the pressured games, but I think on like PCW bases, like where everyone's just playing normally with no pressure, I think it's actually very, very close.
Okay. That's cool. Well, so congratulations to those 3 teams getting into Prem. We now know Prem for next season, which, considering before all these folds, it was looking so strong. Prem was looking so strong. I even had a death rant when it was looking strong, and now I feel like I need to do a death rant now when it's not looking strong. No, I'm joking. Joking, of course, guys. So we have, the top 5, the 5 teams there, and now Dignitas, Relic, Seacraft all gone. So we've brought in Tryharders, brought in Exotic Island, and brought in, who was the 3rd one? Carnage Esports. Yes, I remembered all 3. Beautiful. So there we go. Congratulations to those guys getting in, of course. So, and now we are going to actually move on. I think we should discuss the Sparkle Invite Open. It's about Invite Open, just Invite Cup tomorrow a little bit. We haven't actually written this down here, but so of course we know the 8 teams in it already. We're going to have the first match-offs are going to be, off my memory, Epsilon versus Deserto. And I'm sorry to Deserto, but that's going to be a 5-0, 5-0.
Who are they playing, sorry?
Deserto.
Playing who?
Epsilon.
Whoa, sorry guys.
And then, and then Infuse versus Carnage, which I want to think is a 5-0, 5-0, but we haven't played for a
You're
month.
rusty.
Yeah, so... we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Numlock's been playing, not played a single hour of TF2 for the last month, so that should be quite fun.
Getting the excuses out of the way now, are we?
Yep, exactly. And then we've got Crackland versus Exotic, which, as Commander X has been saying so often...
It could go either way. There's no Sparry for tomorrow, though, so I don't know who we're using as a...
well, you've lost already then, so it doesn't even matter.
No, we might. If Bite plays again, we might win. There we go.
Okay, well there you go.
It's go either way.
Right, so that's
After.
and the final game, which is going to be the best of the lot, Broda versus Yo-Yo Tech. That is
Rematch.
going to be a stormer of a game. So how are you feeling going into that, Kaidus?
I'm feeling like I really hope Extreme is up to the job because I'm not going to be playing.
Oh
Well, 90% chance I'm not playing. I'm back at uni. My new internet does not get installed till Tuesday morning. Would you believe? Tuesday morning was the earliest they could do. So I missed out by about 12 hours of being likely to play. With my internet, you never know. Maybe it'll work, or maybe I can play. But chances are I'll have no input.
Okay. So with Extremer, do you think your team has what it's got? Well, it takes even. That's what I'm trying to say.
Or well, PCWs are only PCWs, but lately with Broda, it's been obviously I'd give it to them overall, but we've like taken maps, they've rolled us in like one game, but it's it's quite inconsistent, I think.
Yeah, I talked to Gordon earlier, and he said it was pretty even as well when he didn't know which way it would go. So
yeah, we had one Badlands game where they literally just shit all over us, but apart from that, it's been incredibly close. So it all depends how well Extremer can just integrate himself in with them. Okay. And I haven't actually ever played with Extremer, so I have absolutely no idea how well he'll do.
He's pretty good at jumping in and murking for teams, I have to say.
Yeah.
And obviously with them just recently playing with a new demo anyway, they're gonna, they're not that used to playing with you, are they? So they kind of the mixed style, merc styles demo doesn't affect them as much. It more depends on how well Extremer plays.
Yeah, I'm I'm not sure what the consensus is because I've been traveling this weekend. I've been getting back to uni, but Linus has been ill all week, and we've been playing with Boomy. I'm not sure what the consensus was. Linus is back now.
Josh is playing.
Are you here?
Josh messaged me earlier today saying something about because before all these folds and stuff happened, we would have been playing you, I think. So he was messaging me with a load of banter, pre-game banter and stuff. So he wanted to dom me and shit. So I'm pretty sure Josh is playing. I don't know whether that's good or bad. Linus is used to playing with you. Josh is a sick soldier. So.
Well, I've actually only ever played in Yo-Yo Tech once when Linus was playing because we literally got back to playing at the same time as he developed chickenpox. So I've played not with him at all. So don't know what would actually be better, but I guess because we played with Boomy recently, that's probably the ideal.
Okay. Well, there we have it. That's the first 4 games. Obviously. As such, if it goes Seeding's way, it should be Epsilon, Infuse, Crackclan, and Broda going through, which means Epsilon will play Broda, Infuse to play Crackclan. But obviously, some of these games are up in the air with teams not playing, new teams coming in, people not used to playing against them. You're not used to certain tactics and stuff like that. So, should be a really, really good cup. So please do tune in. I'm going to have to do some Vanilla TV, big ups here. Do tune into Vanilla TV. It's going to be Admirable and the Pledge casting tomorrow, so should be good. Big James back in action, yeah.
That's going to be sick.
Indeed. So, and I'm sure they're going to cast the Broda Yo-Yo Tech game. I've not even spoken to them, but it's such a big game in relation to the other games, so I would cast that one, and then I would probably cast, if it all goes ahead, the Infused Crackclan game, but...
I will be at my local library using a good internet to spectate. Bring it home, boys.
Get a little crowd going.
So that's, as such, some of the good news before we go into our rants today. Oh dear, ETF2L. Oh dear. So everyone already knows what we're going to be talking about next. So it's, of course, the announcement of the maps this week. We had a rant last week about why they hadn't included some of the maps in the map vote, which got changed the next day, whether that's us putting the puppet strings or not.
Roll up our sleeves again. Some work done.
Yeah, let's roll up our sleeves and fucking kick ETF2L into action about this. What the fuck? That's all I'm going to start with. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
The Foundry rule, but let's leave the Foundry rule for last. Let's cover the map pool first.
I'm not sure if I can contain myself that long.
Right. So we're gonna go into the map pool. So we've got the 5 maps that everyone expects: Badlands, Granary, Gully Wash, Gravel Pit, and Snakewater. So Gravel Pit, some people didn't want in the map pool. I don't care what you say. Gravel Pit's awesome. That's my viewpoint on it. It's such a good map. It's so tense. It's so good for final games. And just adds some more dynamic gameplay to TF2 rather than just playing 5CP. And it definitely shows what teams are capable of outside of this just standard pushing sort of thing. Adds so much more. I'm sure Zavi hates it playing as a medic. Medics on that map, it's not fun. But
hide. Drop tuber, sorry team. Fucking snipers.
and Kaidus probably loves it. I think. Do you love Gravel Pit?
Gravel Pit. It's a love-hate relationship, but I want it in nonetheless.
Yes.
The excitement when you win, like with seconds remaining.
Oh,
well, yeah.
But just to interrupt, yes, Koichi, I would love to see your survey stats. He's gonna quickly give me an update as we talk about this. So, of course, the final map is Freight, and you know that facepalm image. That's just what I did the instant I saw it. What Freight, guys? I know you have nostalgia about it, but Jesus Christ! Last is just like, I'm gonna sit here for 20 minutes. Oh, we've lost middle, we've lost second. I'll sit here for 20 minutes. Fine. I'm happy with stalemating this game out because you can't push back. They can't push you and you can't push back. Why the fuck? Why put that map in the map pool?
Is this a bad time to say that I voted for Freight?
Go on, give me your reasonings.
Okay, well, I'll say at first, I do like Freight. However, I should make it clear that my voting for Freight was primarily motivated by the fact that I excluded Badlands and Gullywash from my vote simply because they're safe, and I did not want Viaduct in, so I essentially voted for every map but Viaduct. Right. Because I assumed G-Pit would get in, I wanted G-Pit in, and I think 3 game types is just too many.
Okay.
Like an extra, like Gravel Pit on top of the 5CP, it's fun, it's different, but when you have a map pool of 6 maps with 3 different game types, you know, it's too much. But Freight, I do actually like the map. I think it could work, but it does need changes. I think rather than everyone bitching about Freight, though, what you should be doing is you should be maybe open the map and look at last, and you see actually it should be quite easy to fix because there's 2 clear problems with Freight last. The first being the height difference from where you push from to where the defenders stand, and the second being the width. Okay, there's absolutely no width.
Okay, so you're saying the reason that Freight should be in the map pool is because of a future version of it that's going to be made to fix it?
No. I'm just saying that a lot of the time TF2 they're going to stand behind these poles like a fucking iron shield. So while I do love to ransom them, I'm going to save it all for the Foundry rule, just to make that clear. I'm just kind of preserving my anger for that and just trying to be a bit more rational and say it's probably going to be in. And so I'm just trying to motivate some discussion about how to fix Freight last, rather than... Because the rest of the map, this is why people vote for it, the rest of the map, middle, I'll go out and say, I like the Freight middle more than any other mid-fight in the game, with the exception of Badlands.
I will come and say that as well, just because it's slow, but it allows you to play a full-on strategy, and you have to play a strategy. You can't just sit there and let them do something. You've got to have a plan in your head compared to the likes of Granary and Badlands, which you can just roll out and roll out. I do love that aspect to it. Plus the aspect of having to split your team, the kind of Counter-Strike style of splitting your team and watching all the angles. I really love that fact to the middle. Second, I like the old version. I don't like the second on the Freight Final one. So I prefer the old version of it.
I think it does the job. It's not great. I don't think it ever will be particularly great with the design of the map. But I think it's nice to have, you know, on another map apart from Granary where Scout isn't just entirely dominant across the whole map, because Scouts are they're pretty shit on second. But I actually like it. I like that. Okay. Just not because I hate Scouts or because I think Scouts are too strong, but just for some variety. But last is horseshit. There's no defending last. But it's apart from the fact that it is quite easy to fix if someone knows how to decompile a map and how to do basic hammer editing, then you hit me up. I'll help you with some
width
like,
and
changes.
lowering the point. But lowering the point would fuck the trains up.
Not necessarily. The trains are gone. If there's an edited map of Freight, then the trains are fucking history, aren't they?
That's not a reason not to change Freight last.
If you look at the people that voted for Freight, they've gone, trains, let's put them in the game, yes! If Well was in the map pool, I would have voted for it because it's got trains!
That's just stupid though, isn't it? The trains are just retarded. They can literally be game-changing if you switch off for a second, and it's nothing to do with like your opponent. That's the worst part about the map. Even worse than last is just the fact that the opponent doesn't need to do fucking anything. You just switch off for a second, like it's a drop duper or something. But yeah.
Okay, and while we're quickly discussing this, Koichi has given me the results of Freight Final of his of his just so how many people voted for it. Not of whether we wanted it, what we rate on the map. So you had a 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being your absolute highest. And out of the people that voted, do you have the numbers, Koichi, as well? Out of the people that voted, so all just the numbers of how many people voted. We had, I think, an average for Freight was 2.75, so not even in the middle ground, under half, under 50% was how enjoyable as such, and how whether you wanted it for 66 gameplay.
2.75 out of 5 is more than 50%. Just
no, but you can only vote for 1 to 5.
all
You
right.
can't vote for 0.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like in the middle is 3.
I see.
Yeah, you get me?
But if it's 2.75, more voted for 3 than voted for 2.
Yeah, it's more voted for 3, but then there's 4, 5 compared to 1, 2. You're not understanding what I mean. Basically, if you wanted 50%, you just voted for 3. Didn't you?
3 is the
was
middle.
50, yeah.
The middle.
Flawed poll.
ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should have been 0 to 4, shouldn't it? That would have made more sense. But anyway. And how many people does he give me the amount of people voted? Not quite. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And out of the people that voted for it, 41 people voted for number 5. That's how good it was. 9.51%, under 10%. So that means near enough 400 people voted in this poll. Voted it as a 5. 81 voted it as a 4. 145 voted it as a 3. That's kind of an in-between. I don't really mind if I want it in the pool. I think it's all right in certain areas, sort of thing, which is what I voted for because I like middle. Seconds. I don't like. It's not like I hate second. I would like it to be changed because obviously, as you say, it's shit for scouts and I'm a scout. So I don't mind the point. Last just kills the map for me. And that's pretty much what he's given me as. As his poll for Freight, and he's given me some more details about the Foundry stuff. Which, do you guys want to talk any more about Freight, or do you want to move on to your Foundry rants?
I would just say either the map has to be fixed or the map pool has to be fixed. It can't stay like it is.
Right, can I just say something about the map pool?
Yeah.
They're making a big deal about all the different maps, but there's a clear 5 favourite. Most people are happy to accept Badlands, Granary, Gully, Snake, and Gravel Pit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If we're doing 7 teams in a division, yeah.
Yep.
That's 14 maps in a season.
Yeah.
So 5 maps, play each map twice, and then if you have to play 4 more maps, just pick the top 4 again, and it just fits perfectly into the schedule as well, and it solves this whole what should the 6th map be.
Or at the very least, have the 6th map be something new, so at least it gets a chance rather than something that's already been rejected by the most people.
Yeah, the way that NA TF2 does it. I feel that they should have probably, as a polling system, maybe for next season they should keep top 5 and, not even bother putting them in the pool and just vote for one map for everybody. Everybody just votes for one map and just picks that. And then, everyone gets a chance to vote for what they want, rather than these people that have voted as you did, where you've gone, okay, Tullywash and Badlands are safe. Yeah, exactly.
I did that as well. I didn't vote for Badlands.
I know other people that voted tactically in it as well. So it's not. I think the voting system is flawed. I also think that they probably should have done it differently, where they had 2 rounds of voting, one where they then eliminated the bottom 2, and then let you vote again. So the people that voted for the bottom 2, the Croissant and Brazilian, get a chance to put their votes into a different map. I feel that the system's flawed just through that in itself. But
the whole voting system is flawed based on the fact that literally 95% of voters actually they haven't got a fucking clue what's going to make a good map in long term or not.
But you can't ignore Div 3. You can't, with Div 3 and below.
Why not?
No, you can't. But
you can't ignore them. They play the same amount of maps as us. It's the same in NA. They have to play a ridiculous amount of maps. But there's some maps that were left out of the map pool the first time. They then added them again. There were some maps still left out of it. Like, why the fuck keep Brazilian in it? You've already seen that it was a fucking shit map in the map pool the first time, and you put it back in. Why is Warmfront not there? Oh well. I've done ranting about the map pool as such. Should we move on to the Foundry decision? Right, so I'm going to go on the website quickly.
Worst decisions ever, and there's quite a long list. but
Yes,
it's definitely up there.
I'm sorry, but this is the worst decision ETF2 have made while I have been part of ETF2. Okay, right. So the 7th map, CP Foundry, will be the decider map in any and all Season 11 playoffs. This means that during the map pick / elimination phases, teams need only pick 2 maps rather than 3. Are you? Oh God, Kaidus, take it first. I can't.
All right. I appreciate. Just to start by saying, I appreciate ETF12's effort. I appreciate their intentions, but it's just what? It's just literally. It's a what the fuck. It's just completely. Because okay,
You can't see
just,
the logic.
for some perspective, they say they did it because when doing map elimination for playoff games, when there's no seeding, i.e., not the Prem playoffs where there's first, second, third, fourth, clear division, clear like advantages and disadvantages should be allocated to the higher seeds. But say Div 1 playoffs, you have 2 teams, both won their respective Division 1 divisions, and have to play each other. With a 6-map pool, ETF will claim that it gives an unfair advantage to one of the teams. Their solution to that is to throw skill, tactics, practice out of the window, and instead just pull out this map that no one will ever get the opportunity to practice, and say the most important games for the entire season will all come down to a map that no one has ever played before. So yeah.
So
when you put it like that,
basically, you have granted yourself. You've not got yourself into the guaranteed first spot or whatever. Okay, you've got yourself into this position where you've got to work for your promotion, and you've got there by playing the 6 maps that are in the map pool. Right? We've been through them already, and then you get to play this playoff game. You play your best map. They play their best map. In theory, you should reach a 3rd map, and then you've got to go there and play a map which nobody has played for the whole season. How is that a good idea in anybody's heads? Just what the fuck?
It's not even like you could practice it if you if you were really like, okay, suppose you're quarantined and it's Christmas Day and you've got nothing better to do. Like, it's not even like you could practice it, because I don't know how Div 3, Div 4 PCWs really go anymore, but Prem, Div 1, anything around that level, no one will play this map because no one has the fucking time to practice a map that in all likeliness they're never going to have to play for real. It's like, okay, say I'm in a playoff, I'm Eurotech, they're 3rd, we've got to play 2nd. Realistically, at that time, only 3rd, 2nd, and 1st were wanting to play Foundry. 4th is out, 4th is gone, they're not involved. There are 3 teams that will want to play Foundry. And I'm sorry to ETF well, but if you think that Prem teams are really that nice that they waste their time playing maps for other teams, that really happens once in a blue moon. Like, I remember having a conversation with Camfo. I think it was Camfo, because I remember him being completely retarded, and I seem to think... and I remember I had a conversation with 2 admins, Krasp and Camfo. Krasp I found very reasonable, but Camfo just seemed to literally from another planet as far as his logic followed. He said, I gave him these reasons why, from experience, that he does not have, how Prem teams will not be able to practice this map. And he told me, stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. Like, stop being lazy, E2F2, and just put some fucking thought into it next time, for Christ's sake.
I don't think they realise how few teams there really are at the top, you know, like, regularly practicing. Like, the top 3 don't practice every, like, before, like, 5 days a week thing.
Yeah.
Like...
Put it this way, when you come to, you know, practicing against teams, okay, we haven't played anybody outside the top 5 with the Infused lineup. We haven't played anybody because these new teams, you know, obviously we had teams fold, but that means it gives us 4 teams to practice against. 4 teams at the moment. Like, what the fuck? Because before, it was no point playing these teams. Like, if we played it, it'd be 5-0. It's just a waste of our time. We, as a team, we'd rather not bother playing those games just because we didn't, you know, it wasn't worth it. We didn't even used to play Yo-Yo Tech. Yo-Yo Tech refused to play us, but they were of the same mind as us, where it wasn't worth them playing. Like, so it's just, you know, when you say, oh, just go get any practice game, you know, you can go on IRC and get a game. We have to plan our games ahead all the time. And we, you know, if Epsilon aren't playing, we, you know, we only play like 1 map a week, because 1 map per night even, because they're not playing. We then get to play Crack Clan. Oh, but we can only play Crack Clan at 20. They're then playing Broder at 21, which means we can't play Broder at 21. We can only play Yo-Yo Tech. And then Yo-Yo Tech might not be playing that night. So it's just, you know, it's so hard to get games in Prem. And these teams are not going to fucking waste their time playing Foundry.
On the off chance they might have to play it.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
literally. Like, if they, I don't even get it. Like, they've just, understand their reasoning, but I've never known any other league to use like such a fucking retarded idea to overcome such a small problem. I mean, it's a tiny problem. Like the problem of map picks in map elimination. I don't think I could. I don't know any team that sat down and thought, "Oh my god, this map is such bullshit. We got screwed because we had the second pick." It's like no one has ever said that. It's the fucking minuscule problem, and it's just bizarre. It's
Put
just
it this way: in the last season when we played Epsilon, okay, so obviously I did the map chip picks with F2. We discussed it. We talked about it because obviously on ETF2L it says the team second seeded doesn't get, he only gets one pick effectively, and we would have had a pick for third map. And instead of bothering to do that, we talk because obviously we've already got an advantage by being first. Well, we don't. They battled their way through 2 teams. Why should we still get an advantage for winning the league? Fair enough. Yeah, some people can argue for or against that sort of thing, but we're fair. I talked to F2, and he goes, "Oh, how do you want to do this?" Which is like, "Do you want to do the standard 2 picks, 2 elims? We'll leave 2 maps, and then we'll decide which map both of us want to play." And generally, you end up playing the map that both of you want to play, just because it comes down to, you know, like I think it was came down to Granary and Gullywash. No, it didn't. We played Badlands first, then Snakewater.
Then Gullywash.
They eliminated Gravel Pit. We eliminated Gullywash. So what's the other map?
Granary.
No, we eliminated Granary even. Sorry,
Yeah.
what's the other map? So
Gullywash.
Gullywash
It was the decider.
and what else was? What's the other map from last season? There were 6 maps, and I don't remember what it was.
I wasn't listening, but is it Snakewater?
Obscure. Yeah, so
Yeah,
the
Obscure
last map was either Obscure or Gullywash, and we were just like, let's just play Obscure. Like, why does it matter? A team gets one map, you know, that they both want, and then you should always end up on a map that both of you are good at. Like, it's I don't see why you feel there's a need for a 7th map, and if so, why you would put a map that no one's going to practice in.
At least just make it compulsory, like Badlands or something, if it has to be. If you really insist on this retarded rule that the 3rd map has to be like predefined, Badlands, Gravel Pit, any of these maps that have been played for literally years to everyone. Like, I think DJC actually posted on the forum saying something I agreed with, was the only reason they could have picked Foundry was because they wanted it to be played. And if that's the case, put it in the map pool, and everyone will play it because they know they have to play it then.
Teams won't want to drop a map on that. They will practice it. They'll think up strategies. They'll make tactics for it.
And then there's a 7 map pool instead of a 6 map pool, which makes makes everything so much easier. And then you've also only got 7 maps, which makes the 8
scheduling.
The scheduling perfect. Like how has this plan got into your head? We've just spent 5 minutes discussing, and we've just come up with a perfect solution for you. Like, oh my god, whatever. Please don't do that though. Now I don't want Foundry in it. I don't want Foundry in it. But if you'd made that decision at the beginning, we would have had to live with it. We'd be ranting about it now that we don't want to. We would have got on with it. We would be saying, why have we got Freight? Why have we got 2 new maps in the map pool? We'd be still ranting about it, but we'd have to live with it. You can't fucking go change the decision now about this retarded 3rd playoff whatever map.
I'll go ahead and say right now, on the fluky chance that Yotek somehow get into the Prem final, the very final, it's going to be ESL all over again. ESL Nations Cup, it's the last match. Anakin can't say shit, so why I just went out the window. So in the Prem final, if any kind of sane team finds themselves in the final, they're just going to be like, this is the biggest match for about 4 months worth of TF2. So essentially, what are you going to do, ETF? Well, what are you going to do? They're just not going to do it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Great
shout, because that will happen. So they need to change it. And Koichi, obviously in his poll, he's given me some more numbers about the Foundry stuff. He made a good stated something good, whether you wanted the addition of Foundry to the 7 maps. Okay, so instead of having it a guaranteed playoff, it's a choice in the 7 maps. So instead of having 6 for the playoffs, you have 7. You can choose Foundry. You can eliminate it. Whether that's a good thing, because of what we stated before, I don't think so. Because we've all talked about how we're never going to play it anyway, and if it gets picked for a game, how are we even going to play it? It's not even forced on the other teams. They're not going to play it. So that's a bit of a dodgy one there. Maybe some teams will. Generally, when kaidus said teams go out of their way to play a map for teams, but when teams warm up, okay? So we'll be playing a match, say Thursday night, we've got a game. We'll be playing Foundry Freight, right? And on our
just saying it out loud hurts.
on our 20 games, so our game that starts at 7 UK, 8 CET, the team we play against are normally kind enough to go and play the 2 maps that you're going to play on your official, so you warm up on the maps you're going to play. Okay? That's when teams go out of their way to play maps for people. And that's it.
Yeah.
What's the point in practicing a map you're not going to play when you're going to be playing something else the next day?
Not to mention, if you warm up against a team that's not practiced Foundry, hasn't played Foundry because they won't need to, say Yayutech or an Exotic or someone who's not going to be in the playoffs, not going to be in that situation, they're going to play Foundry with have no tactics of Foundry. So is it going to be worth playing them?
No.
No.
Well, yes, because you're throwing. What else
At
can
least
you
you
do?
get
It's better than
on the
nothing,
map. At
but-
least you get on the map and run around and shoot people and know the kind of peaking spots. But your tactics are going to be out the window. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, it's
There's a place and a time to try new maps, and it's not fucking playoff finals. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
that's,
Well
that's
said.
it's not the best place to test a map.
So Koichi did say, do you want to have this as a 7th map in the map pool? I say no because of the same reasons we said before. But he's given me his numbers, and it's out of the people, 244 said yes, and 121 said no, and 66 said I don't care. Okay, so that is the 121 are people that think they might be in the ground in the Foundry, right? Okay, might be playing Foundry, are saying no. The 244 saying yes. Like the people that go, oh, I'd like to see it, but the teams can play it, can decide if they want to play it. Well, you really can't in the grand scheme of things because of the way that the playoffs work. They need to change it if they do it that way. They need to have eliminations first rather than picks first. But if you do elimination first, if you do picks first even, one of the teams can be like, oh, we played Foundry like 3 times. Let's pick that. Yes, they're going to have no strats on it. We get an easy win. Like, really, it shouldn't be in that
Spin the wheel kind of thing. Yeah, just make it more of a 50-50.
Oh, okay. I take it back to Koichi. I take it completely back. It's adding Foundry as a 7th map, not just as a 7th map in the playoffs. Okay, but so I take that back completely. So the people that voted that, yeah, that's as we stated before, having 7 maps in the map pool. I think it's too late to do that because the map isn't in the right fit state to go into the next season. That's why I would say you shouldn't have it in the next season. And like, I think that just going with 6 and just sticking with the same thing as before, and just leaving it the same as last season. Like, the only problem with last season is because you didn't have any dates set for the playoffs, so no one gave a shit. And then you didn't really have a proper ruling down beforehand written anywhere. We had to go and ask you every time. Like, I had to ask Crasp like 3 times what the fucking rules were because he didn't know the first 2 times. And then I had to go and talk to F2 and decide it. So obviously these teams are doing the same thing. And fair enough. I think they had an admin change about the playoffs in the middle of the season, so someone really didn't have their head around it, which is why it's a bit late. But this season they've gone about it the right way straight away. They've put some dates. I like that. I like the fact that they've already gone, you've got to play this game in this week. You've got to play this game by this day. By this day. Yeah, I like that. I really do. So, but this Foundry, like, you've made like 1 step forward and like 1,000,000 steps back. Like, oh.
You've taken a step forward just to fall down the stairs.
So, do you want to bring anything more, Kaidus, before we move on to maybe a next topic? We've had quite a lot of time on this.
No, I think I've had my say.
Commander?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, ETF2L, for giving us something to discuss this week. Thanks. It was nice.
Keep the material coming. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. So, that's pretty much all the ETF2L stuff. We have one more topic for this week. Some people won't really enjoy this topic. It is about the NA TF2 scene, guys. It's basically the season has ended. It was week 15, week 14. No, am I saying that right? Week 14? Was it week 14? Was it week 7? I don't even remember. Basically, the last week of the season.
14 sounds right. No, because they do 2-part weeks, don't they?
Week 7 it was. So, because they have, they obviously have 2 games a week. So it was week 7 last week, which is the last week. It was CP Granary, and it pretty much decided all the playoffs. I say all the playoffs. The final 2, 3rd and 4th playoff spots for ESEA for the LAN, and wow, some really, really good games. So I'm going to go down, the top 4, or the top 2 first. Quantic and Mix Up both guaranteed their spots. Quantic are actually a win ahead of Mix Up. Mix Up lost an extra game to Snoop this week on Granary, or to Blight as they're now called. So that means they're in second. Quantic have one more game to play, so if they lose that, obviously they actually go to second seed. While first seed is Beneficial playing fourth place. And then the last 2 spots were up for grabs between Experiment, HRG, Ducks, and 51. So four teams competing for 2 spots. And Experiment won their first game of the week, I think, against Ducks on stand-in, which guaranteed them playoff, I think. I think it guaranteed them playoff spots. And then they played HRG, okay? And HRG are, for those who don't know who they are, they came from intermediate last season. This is their first season in Invite for the majority of their players. I don't think they've even got one that was in Invite before. And they beat Experiment on Granary. I think it was a pretty good game from the bits I saw here and there. So absolutely go check that out. So that's a great win for them. And then they had to play 51 HRG later in the week. And they beat 51 5-0. Absolutely destroyed them, which guaranteed HRG space in ESEA LAN. It's the 4th seed, so they had to play either Quantic or Mix Up depending on Quantic's game later in the week, but Quantic versus HRG, but HRG looks so strong at the moment. They have 2 really, really good maps, Snakewater and Granary, so it's going to be, I think that LAN finals is actually going to be really, really good. Do you want to do it? I'm going to give a prediction. I'm going to say Mix Up are going to take the LAN finals.
I want Mix Up to win, but Quantic should win.
Yeah, Quantic should win. I reckon Mix Up will win it. And HRG will decimate Experiment when they have
I hope so.
I really, really hope
the
so.
underdog.
Well, I love underdogs, as do most people. There's always, it's always a storyline to an underdog.
Hero storyline, isn't it?
Yeah, which always makes it so much more fun for a caster, just like having a storyline. It always brings in viewers a lot better, having that storyline behind the team. I mean, HRG, I think they were 1-5 at the beginning of the season, and it came to Snakewater week. They won both maps, and they ended up 8-8. Like, that is such a good end to the season. Like, so strong. So they're looking good going into that, and they beat Experiment earlier, so it's gonna be definitely be a good LAN finals. It's in March. I'm not 100% sure on the date, but we'll cover it the week before on Pirate Radio, and I hope I'll be able to do some casting of the games. I don't know what Vanilla or have any plans or anything, but it would be nice if we do some casting of it, definitely. So. But that has been our podcast. If anyone has any questions regarding anything we've talked about, say them now, because I haven't read out any IRC really while we've been going on. Does anybody want to give any shout-outs before we go?
Yes.
Go on, Zavi.
Shout out to Havoc, who is now back in TF2 and looking for a team. Div 2+ teams should get in contact.
Oh,
so there we go.
Isn't there a rate? Aren't we not allowed to play with shit rates in the next season though? He might be a bit dodgy.
Hey, no, Havoc's sick. Havoc's sick.
Kaidus, do you have anything?
I guess a shout out to Kras for carrying the ETS admins on his back.
Shout out to Retshock for when he loses tomorrow, so this can cheer him up.
Yeah.
Aww.
I'm going to give a massive shout out to all the teams that go into Prem. Congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to the teams that made it. Oh god, now Commander X is in Prem. We can't.
Technically Prem.
Oh no. Yeah, congratulations to the teams that got into the XLO invite. The Exotic, the Carnage, the Desertos. It's awesome. Shout out to my team, to, all our sponsors, blah, 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 blah. Shout out to, Quarantine for letting me merc this week. Thank you very much, guys. And, cheers for joining us, guys. That's, we always live for everyone coming here and, listening to what we chat shit about. I mean, this week we've had a lot of topics. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed ranting about fucking ETF2L. Oh god, and discussing Prem as well. But thank you very much, guys. It's been good, and we will catch you next week, same time. Ciao.
Bye.
See ya.